said this for years and I never did it. Years I said this and I never did it. Not one time.
How much of that is our story is because we probably both have ADHD. I don't know.
Right.
We're both like, this is over here. Now we're doing this.
There's so many times where you're paralyzed.
Yeah.
Because you want it to be perfect.
There would have been a way. You could have found a way.
And you got to start carving a path.
Yeah.
And pretty soon you'll know if you ran into a bunch of shit in a direction you didn't want to be in, right?
Hey, man.
What?
Hey.
What up? Yeah.
Hey, you're on a podcast.
Yeah. I think it's the beginning of Clocked Out.
That's a great name.
I think so. I think it's all right.
That's a 10 out of 10 name.
Yeah, I think I don't know why we haven't done this earlier before the masses decided that everyone needed to do this. So now it looks like we're just following.
I'm glad we did though.
That might be okay though.
We're a bandwagon podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we
Maybe
are.
that's what we should call ourselves.
Bandwagon.
Yeah.
So
it's too late now.
Well, I
Clocked out.
don't know. Everyone can just look up. If it says bandwagon, then you were part of the conversation that we originally changed our name.
Yeah, we're the bandwagon podcast.
Bandwagon podcast.
We like the idea, so we did one too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a good format just to have conversations about, you know, our 20 years of errors and fixing things and taking action and then running in one direction and then going a different direction. You know, like I think
it is 20 years of that.
It's 20 years of that.
It is 20. Try this, see if this works.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, and I think I think we talk to lots of people we know lots of people in industry of mortgages, but industry of business, just that have been in business or self-employment or even just leadership of any company, of all of the things that they try. Yeah. And all of the, you know, everyone's got some stuff, I guess. Yeah. Like regrets of I said this for years and I never did it. Years I said this and I never did it. Not one time. And it's always curious to me, like, what is that? What are the moments that when do you finally learn? Like, what makes you finally say, you know what, we're doing this? Like, where are those moments and how as you and I, even as we grow or people we know, when do you have that moment that you're like, no, it's enough. I'm just going to proceed with what I think.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. And I think even going off of that is how much of that is our story is because we probably both have ADHD. I don't know.
Right.
We're both like, this is over here. Now we're doing this. Yeah.
Right.
Maybe this is just a you and I problem. And everyone else like, oh man, your brains are messed.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's actually you guys think.
Right.
But it is our story for sure.
I think it is. And I, you know, we probably have uniqueness in some ways, but in some ways not at all.
No, I think it's pretty common.
Lots of different business owners or guys that have tried things.
Yeah.
It's just, they've tried to go in one direction and
it
doesn't work. But when do you actually take that first step to go in that direction? Because I think over the past, there's so many times where you're paralyzed.
Yeah.
Because you want it to be perfect and you want, sometimes our brain will lean towards certainty where we're like, well, I want to make sure it's going to work. Well, that's not possible.
Yeah.
That's an unreasonable expectation. That's got too much friction. I want to know before I do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then just sit there.
Yeah.
Because you're never going to know until,
yeah.
Because there's a whole bunch you don't know.
Yeah.
And you gotta, you always got to take the machete first and you got to start carving a path.
Yeah.
And pretty soon you'll know if you ran into a bunch of shit in a direction you didn't want to be in, right?
Yeah.
And then you take the machete and you go in a different way.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like I learned a lot from you and of course others as well, but I was a slow thinker. I think my brain was chaotic, but I think I was a slow, methodical thinker. I need to have all of these things in a line, and then from there it's like, okay, now I'm ready to act. And then I started working with you, and then we started being business owners together. I'm like, oh, we decide fast. Right. And yet there's a whole bunch of things that you don't act on at all. So yeah, to go into your question, I don't know. It's almost like as soon as the pain starts to hit, you're like, oh man, like let's use this. Let's use our podcast as the idea is that we've talked about this for years. We have so much fun telling stories and sharing ideas. We do it at our AGM for our business, and those are some of my favorite moments of the entire year. And now we get to be able to do this a little bit more on a regular basis. So I think it's
Right.
like it gets to the spot where you look at this list of priorities and goals, and you're like, why haven't I done this? This is embarrassing that I haven't
Yeah.
done this.
Yeah, it's been
We have a
sitting here.
room. We have this room
Yeah.
that was set aside for this for how many years?
Year, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So sad.
Yeah. We got to do some stuff. You might have to hang a picture.
Yeah.
And you'll do everything but,
I know.
you know, like it's like, well, I got to go up there and try and design that room so that we can do some filming. And then you're like, but I really need to wipe down my office first because this dust is really collected over, and there's nothing there. There's no dust. Nothing's collected. But
Yeah.
I should just really wipe down my monitor screen. You know,
Yeah,
like so you
I
just start avoiding. Your brain goes into avoidance.
Yeah.
And then but I think that's kind of the value of like these conversations. I think when you say it out loud or you have these conversations, I think there's lots of learning in it too as you process, as you have these conversations to learn and to why are we thinking like that? Why are we not moving forward with certain things? And I think everybody has that.
Yeah.
We're like, I know it's not rocket science. Everyone knows what to do.
Yeah.
In some sense, where they're like, I know I have to take action over here. I know I have to at least start this.
Yeah.
I might not know all the details yet, but I have to at least walk in that direction. You can't get fit unless you start moving, right? So you got to start moving. But then what I find is a big deterrent for, like you said, when you have kind of a attention deficit problems, right? Like
Many of those.
But I think for some of those, I'm like, every time you're going in one direction, because the sale of progress is big, and so somebody sells you on, but you would be 12% better if you didn't do it the way you're gonna do it, and you did it this way. And so then you keep reinventing what your plan is because somebody tells you you're going to be 4% better over here, and you think for some reason that 4% better is the fitness is a big thing because they're like, you're just trying to get in shape. Like I'm overweight and I want to get into shape. That's myself talking, and I want to get into shape. And then it's like, but this guy says I could get 12% more results if I did it this way. But I don't want to do it that way. My brain wants to do it a certain way. Well, I'd get way more results if just start. The 4% difference in fitness is for the athletes and and people who are competing. If you're Joe Schmo just trying to get into shape, just get moving. All of it's going to work. Every single one of it is going to work. It's all going to work. And I think it's the same in our lives, business, investments. It's all going to work if you just start doing it. It's going to work. It might not work exactly the way you're going, but it's going to work. You're going to make it refinements, but there's things that you don't know, and you've got to learn that. So just start walking. And then pretty soon you'll see if you're going in the right direction, but you won't be able to know that until you start. You won't know. So you'll wonder forever.
Yeah. No, it's so true. Yeah, just being able to start. And like, even I look at our friend Jay, and he was giving investment advice, and he's just like, get going, just start putting it into this and get some ETFs, buy anything, stop trying to find the right stocks and all that stuff. He's like, just get going, Graham, make it an automatic coming out of your account, making an automatic purchase, and then you can always move funds around, but just get going. And I did, thankfully, but the cool part is that there would have been way better investments I could have chosen, for sure. But because I just did one of them, it's like, okay, and now I have the ball rolling and momentum. Now I look back, I'm like, well, thank goodness I did it. Because then you start dollar cost averaging for whatever, 5, 6, 7 years, whenever I had that conversation with Jay. And I'm like, if I would have been waiting for the right stock the whole time, then, or like the right set of companies to invest in, I maybe would have never started. So thank goodness Jay's like, just get going.
Just start doing it. The habit. Just start the habit.
Yeah.
We hear that all the time too. Like, let's start the habit.
Yeah.
Just start putting it. You're not doing it now.
Yeah.
Well, what if I pick the wrong investment? Well, pick something that's, very minor, and you don't need to really understand it because conceptually it's a fund.
Yeah.
So just put it in there,
Yeah.
Well, you figure out your life.
Yeah.
Just get the action going. It's
Yeah.
just start proceeding.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same as any investment, any kind of business that we'll just start it. And they're like, how do you become an owner of a mortgage company? Well, I actually just started doing mortgages.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're a big producer and you're doing lots of mortgages and you're getting some accolades and some confidence in what you bring to the industry, and then you start owning a company,
Mm-hmm.
you then have to acknowledge that we just, like, for you and I in starting to build this up and run it, we're just a couple of self-employed producers that all of a sudden we're running a company.
Yeah.
And so then we had to learn how to be a business owner. That's the biggest hurdle, I think, in any kind of, if you're kind of a self-employed producer where you eat what you kill, and then you run a team and staff, you've got to actually learn how to be a business owner, but you wouldn't know until you actually start doing it.
Yeah.
Because it's not like we could have went back to, myself. I became an owner in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't have gone back there and then said, here's how you're going to run your team. Because I didn't become the leader or the person that I need to become now. And I'm still not the person that I need to be 10 years from now.
Yeah.
Right. And that's kind of the fun of it.
Yeah.
I think that's the fun of starting, is that's where all the knowledge is. It's far better than any course or school or education you could ever get. The education of just actually executing it and seeing what happens. I mean, you have to have a pretty high risk tolerance, and you can't be frivolous and be stupid about it.
Yeah.
But you do have to get going.
Yeah. Yeah. To trust your gut, and you're going to fail sometimes too, which we have a laundry list as well. But I think let's use even like you recruited me when I was a producer, I was an agent. So way before you and I owned this together, is I had no idea what was going to work or not, and I didn't know what this was going to be ending up where we are today. But I was like, yes. I trusted my gut. I was like, yeah, I'll come over and I'll join your brokerage, and then from there it's like, hey, we're going to start this team together.
Yep.
That blew up within 6 months. I don't know, a year. How long did it last?
It wasn't a year. We didn't make a year.
Yeah. So our team I was so excited, and I joined you for that moment. Didn't even last 6 months, but here we are today.
Yeah.
And so I needed to say that yes in order to arrive here, but I couldn't see that full story. So sometimes it is just, I don't know the full picture. It could be super messy, but I got to just do it. My gut was, I trust this guy. I'm going to try this out.
We'll try it out. Yes. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And we did, like, we stood up in front of the brokerage at that point, which was very small, and said that forming this team was the best decision that we ever made in our lives, and then proceeded to break the team up 4 weeks later.
Yeah.
And say it doesn't work. Like, they're like, you just said it was the best decision you ever made in your life, and it turned out to be. But at the time, we're like, oh, this team doesn't. Let's close this thing up. This shop it's over.
Yeah.
But what that was the birth of our first underwriting center, and that is the foundation of our brokerage and what we run, and we believe we've cracked the code. Everyone believes they've cracked the code, but I do believe that we have.
Yeah.
But that was the birth of it, is and us knowing that it shouldn't have been us being the main underwriter. That was that was the first where we're like, no, we actually can bring in the deals, and we can actually do this. We shouldn't be behind the scenes, or we shouldn't be executing. That wasn't how our brains work. Our brains were more on the sales side of things.
Yeah.
But we don't know any of that if you don't form that team that failed first. You don't know any of it. So all that necessary failure, I guess, is what, the failing forward, that's been around forever. But it's necessary.
Who is that? Is it John?
John Maxwell.
John.
Yeah. So you're like, it's and then he wrote a book called Sometimes You Win, Sometimes You Learn.
Oh yeah.
John. Genius.
We say like we know him so well. You've actually seen him live though.
I've seen him live.
So that's pretty sweet.
Rewrote the same book, calling it something different. Oh,
sorry, John.
It's amazing.
We're calling you out.
Oh, it's amazing. They were both great. So actually, they were both great, but conceptually, it's the same concept, but genius.
It is
genius.
Yeah.
But we didn't know any of that. You don't get any of that education. The necessary failure of it all is I needed that information to build what was next. You don't have that information, you can't you can't just say, oh, we built it wrong, let's start fresh again. It's you learn from the mistakes you have, and then you alter it, and then you create something else. And we've changed it probably 7 or 8 times since.
Yeah.
The system, the process, the improvement, but you always have to be, kind of moving forward and pushing that.
Yeah, I remember so fast forward now, we were owners together, and I remember when we were first talking about inside of our brokerage starting the account manager team, and I was like, man, this year's taken off. It's going crazy. I need to have someone in a role like this. And I wasn't very clear on how I was describing it, but you were like, yeah, man, I get it. Yeah. Yes. You said yes. It was like one of those moments again where now it's taken our company in a completely different direction. It opened up all of these doors and allowed us to be able to take our brokerage and our business to another level and investments and opportunities. But it took like just a random idea and you're like, yeah, let's try it out.
Right.
And then it looks completely different than how it started. Like we had one person dedicated to one part of the business and a book of business, and now it's all over and it really like flows between. It's almost like a queue system now. It's very cool, but it was not how we originally envisioned it. And it's just okay. I have an idea. You said yes, and if you would have said I don't like it or I don't see it, we may not have it at all today. I don't know.
Right.
Who knows?
And I think having that working relationship where you can have people that are, let's try it. I don't know. Too many times I think people they let their doubt and then well, I don't think that would work. Well, you don't think that would work, or that wouldn't work. Because if you don't know it wouldn't work, why stifle it?
Yeah.
If you think that there's even an inkling of possibility, even if it fails miserably, the education and what you would learn from doing it is far more valuable than any cost that it's going to have.
Yeah.
Right? It'd be a $50,000 mistake. But if you didn't do it, you would be $50,000 of knowledge less.
Yeah.
And so the next thing that you tried, you would not do it right.
Yeah.
You would still not do it right. So you're going to have to make that mistake anyway. And I think it's, same thing. I think this, I don't know.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, okay, well that was a fairly compelling pitch. Seems like you thought it through. Let's give her.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah.
And then we'll know. And same thing as having the trust that you and I have working together is that I know if it's not working that you're fine admitting it and we'll adjust together.
Yeah.
And I think that's, you have to surround yourself with people also that aren't, they're not I told you so people. It's like if we decide to do something, whether it's your idea or my idea, and it fails, it's more like, well, we failed at that. That's okay.
Yeah.
Or it didn't work. It's not even a failure. It didn't work, but we've got some knowledge and we're going to readjust. Not I told you, man. I told you. It's a shit. Because sometimes you almost can partner with people that make it fail.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I told you. See?
No.
They put their back up and they don't actually just go all in with the person that wanted to do the idea. And then they're just like, it's almost like they're pumped. I told you.
Yeah.
It's like, what? You're glad you're wrong? Like
Yeah.
you're glad that didn't work? That's shit, man. You should have been rooting that idea on, because if it works, it's better for everyone.
Oh, that would drive me crazy. I'm so glad you're not like that. That's really good. Thank you. And I feel like there's maybe something in that. Let's just use our working and our business relationship is I wonder how much of it is the joy of not knowing, is that the yes is like we almost both know where we're thinking right now isn't where it's going to be. Like the end result is not even close to this, but this is good enough for us to say yes to.
Yeah.
So let's just go down this and try it out, and let's see where it morphs to, and to be able to have that, I don't know, the curiosity or the childlike mindset that this sounds so lame and cliche, but the journey is way more fun than knowing that the destination that we chose at the very beginning, I'm so excited to arrive there. No, like we don't know if that's actually where we're going. That's where it looks like today.
Yeah.
But this whole meandering path that we're about to go on, that's so much more fun. And it's going to open up these doors over here that I never would even thought of.
And you really have to. It's exactly that. You have to embrace the uncertainty.
Yeah.
Because if you don't embrace the uncertainty of it, it'll drive you crazy.
Yeah.
Because it's those that need to know exactly. Well, I need to know. You're going to hold yourself back.
Yeah.
The uncertainty is part of it. That's the fun of it. Well, it's or the certainty that it's not going to look that way, like you had just said. No, like we're doing it this way, and that's how it's going to be. No, for sure not. But that's how it's going to start.
That's all I can see right now. But so that's the story today.
It's not going to be like that at all.
No.
But it's going to start us in the
Yeah.
direction of the way it's going to be. But we actually can't figure out how it's going to be until we go this way.
Yeah.
So we got to know we got to go that way, you know, and
Yeah.
then we're going to adjust. But no, it's not going to look like that at all.
Oh, yeah.
We hope not anyway. I mean, because this is just our first idea, right? Like, so we're just going to give it a try.
Yeah.
And it's like like in every uncertainty too, like that's even people. Every great person that we've found and worked with and partnered with and worked together with now, you had to take a shot on them and they had to take a shot on us. They didn't know.
Yeah.
We didn't know. Nobody knew. Like, you don't know if you're going to jive together or not. So you have to be okay with just saying, well, you know, we got a good vibe. Let's see. Because until you all get to work together, you don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know if we're going to be assholes to work with and for.
Yeah.
We don't know if they're just put their best foot forward and then, you know, like we don't know any of that, and then they just don't do anything, or they're complainy, or we don't know.
Yeah.
So you don't find the rock stars until everybody says, let's give it a go.
Yeah.
Let's just see if we can all work together.
Yeah.
Let's see if our visions align as we go.
Yeah.
We'll start here.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think of our mentor, Gary Morris, all the time, where he had told me one time is find a way. Like, find a way to be able to pull off whatever the goal is or the dream. There's always a way. And I think of lots of opportunities that you and I have had that I've said either yes to, or the times that fear's maybe taken over, or I'm like, that's way too complicated, or I've never done that before, and I say no. And then you have, you know, you have your mentor in your ear, and you just hear their voice, like, there would have been a way. You could have found a way.
Yeah.
Because then I look back at some of the opportunities that I did say no to, and like some investment opportunities or like properties and things like that have now quadrupled in value. And I look back at those and like, oh man, like I said no because of inconvenience, or I was like, oh, I've never owned a property there or a building there. I'm like, maybe, I'm going to say no to it. And that would have quadrupled my money if I would have said yes to that opportunity. And I did it just because of inconvenience. But I could have found a way. Like, I could have found a property manager to help me out, even though I don't live there. Like, there's solutions to all this stuff, and I make it more complicated in my own head.
Right.
And like, why did I do that? It could have been a yes. Make a caveat for yourself. That's fine. I could have done that. Anyways, I don't want to have any more of those. Like, those.
Acquire the asset.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Acquire the asset.
Yeah.
And figure it out.
Yeah. The worst thing that happens, is you have to sell it.
Yeah.
The worst thing, you're like, oh, that was a mistake. I'll have to sell this. And yeah, maybe you lose a bit of money, but then you're going to make all those yeses that you would have made you way more to outweigh that one mistake that it did turn out. Be like, maybe I should have said no. But all those yeses outweigh that one.
Yeah. Every time it fails, that was tax. It's tax. That's cost of entry. You're gonna have to screw it up a couple times, right? You know, like I think Keith Cunningham calls it your dumb tax, right? Like, everybody's got to have some of those where you have to. It's a cost, and I think understanding the cost of entry is not really knowing and being uncertain. That's the cost of entry. Well, I want it to be a surefire. Yeah, we all do.
Same.
We all do, but that's the cost of entry is not knowing.
Yeah.
And if you're not willing to pay that, then you just, and I'm not slagging if somebody's like, no, I just get me a job that has a pension. I'll work it every day, and I'll find variety and fulfillment in other things, in other hobbies. That's great. That's fantastic. Just so happens my choice is career and business and investing.
Yeah.
Is that I like the uncertainty there. And sometimes it hurts you. Sometimes you get backed up a few years because you're like, oh shoot, that one didn't work, and I put a lot of resources into it.
Yeah.
But that's the cost of entry is by doing that. But I think that's far greater, in my opinion, than getting to the point where you're 65, 70 years old and being like, what if I'd have taken a little bit more risk? What if I would have, it was said to about a friend of mine that, was, in his mid 60s. And I said, I was 40 at the time. I said, just give me I'm 40. Just tell me what you think.
Yeah.
He says, take all the risks. By the time you get, to the end of the game, he says, all you got is the stories and the fun and the risks that you had. And so take the risks. That always stayed true to me, is like, or top of mind for me, is to be like, oh, just take the gambles, take the risks, take the, and we're not saying frivolously where you just throw your money to the wind, but if you know an industry, or you have a really good feeling and you have the desire to make it work, just do it. Just proceed.
Yeah. 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 And if it, like, some of these things are like financial pain, but the lesson that you learn from it, like we've heard this from tons of people that have been financially successful and gurus in the industry, where if you get close to bankruptcy or claim bankruptcy and you were in that spot where you're wealthy or a millionaire or whatever, they say that you bounce back within years, because your brain knows how to say yes to those opportunities, trust your instinct, and go for it.
Right.
And I always think of that too. I'm like, okay, like being slow and methodical and doing it is not a bad way of doing it. But for those that have been there and then make the mistake and lose it all, they get it back right away. In other words, get in a hustle, get in the fast lane to be able to find out how to be able to gain that success and like take those risks, because it is like a skill set. It is just like that. You're like, hey, I've done this before. Now I know that I say yes to these opportunities.
Yeah. And
when it comes like this, I want it.
And you become somebody different.
Yeah.
So every time you do that, you become a different human being.
Yeah.
And it's an extension of yourself. You don't lose yourself, but you become someone. Like and there's a reason that is said by that. That sounds cliche because it's who you become, not what you get, right? And the reason that was so popular, and Jim Rohn was who I heard it the most from, is that it's not about the $1 million, it's about becoming a millionaire, because it's that mindset that got you there,
Right.
And that always, it's just like, no, but you'll become a better person once you get that knowledge. So go for it. And then the person you become, even if it doesn't work out, you're someone different now. You got a little bit more grit in you. You know what it takes. You have a little bit more expectation, or you have another idea on what went wrong there, and now you could make a better educated guess. You're just a different human.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the fun of it, is that you're not the same person you were 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And I think that's a regret that lots of people have if they get to the end and they didn't push themselves like that, is they're like, who would I have been?
Yeah.
If I just did those things, who would I have been? I think that regret would be way more painful than getting to the end and being like, I have no money, but I tried a lot of cool stuff. I failed.
Yeah. Sit down. I got some stories.
Life won, but I got some cool stories of shit I did.
Yeah.
Right. I would prefer to be in that spot.
Yeah.
Than to be in the spot where I'm like, I played it safe. I'm doing just fine, but man, I have a lot of regrets.
Yeah.
I wish I would have. I wish I would have.
Yeah.
That's every story sounds like I wish I would have.
Oh man.
Yeah. I could have.
Yeah. And the things that I said no to, that's exactly how I feel. Like when you were saying that just now, I was like, oh, I actually feel that a bit. Or like, that's exactly how I feel though. It's like, I hate that feeling so much of knowing that I could have been invested there and I didn't, or buy those properties there. And I'm like, I was too afraid, or I just was unsure.
Yeah.
And that feeling feels way worse than some of the big mistakes I said yes to with you that were like, whew, that was bad.
Rough.
Like some of the marketing things that we've tried, like, oh man, 40,000 in 3 months gone. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
that
Gross.
sucks. Did we get any clients out of that? Not really. No.
Yeah.
No, that did not turn out well. Yeah. So those are way more painful.
Right.
That, like, wondering, I don't have to wonder about that. I know that those marketing things, they didn't work out, but that's just a slight pain compared to, I should have said yes to that. That would have been a transformative thing. Yeah. Right. I don't want that pain. That pain sucks.
Exactly.
Yeah.